All right. Good Monday, everybody. It is Karsch and Anderson. Anderson is out. Stoney is in. And good to have you with us, Stoney, as always.
Great to be here.
Oh, I'm glad you think that.
Yes, absolutely.
What else is new in your world? Anything this weekend exciting, Stoney?
I was in Florida the last week, so the weather change was very abrupt.
What were you doing in Florida?
Just chilling, really.
Yeah.
Played a little pickleball. I was supposed to play golf on Thursday, but it got derailed because the SID from St. John said, well, we can have Patino available at this time only, which was my tee time. So I decided that Rick Patino was better. That's why we didn't.
For the Restore the Floor podcast?
Yes.
Which covers the Pistons?
Yes.
And
he coached Dennis Jenkins at Iona and St. John's. That's why we had him on. And he was good. Talked about he said he actually signed a contract to be the head coach in Michigan.
Right.
So he was good to talk to.
What was the best Dennis story he has? And again, if you want to listen to the whole thing, Restore the Floor, the podcast.
Nothing in particular, but just the fact that he is, well, we see him now, like especially when he went through that, mini Linsanity run, as I like to call it, that he was always one of a guy who he talked about how all he wanted to do is work hard. All he cares about is winning, and he'll do anything to win. And he knew that from the get-go.
Mm-hmm. So. 248-539-9797. Mondays mean Champ and Chump. Get your Champ and Chump votes in. They're coming in hot and heavy. And lots to talk about after yesterday's game. There's really sort of a couple of ways we can approach the Lions game. One is, the micro, what happened on the field yesterday, why they lost that game. And there's a number of important factors that can be pointed out and discussed. And then two is the macro, where they sit right now, suboptimal, although, we're not wish casting to think that they can make the playoffs still. They are favored the next 2 weeks. The Bears are underdogs the next 2 weeks. Those point spreads can change based upon outcomes this weekend, but CBS Sports has all the games and their lines in the future. And so the Lions very well could win the next two, and somewhat expected for them to win the next two, and it's actually expected for the Bears to lose the next two. We don't need them to lose two. We need them to lose one. Mm-hmm. But the goal to get to the last week with a shot, it's still intact. We're not asking for a miracle.
No,
the part that might be asking for a miracle is for Green Bay to lose the Baltimore game and open up the door to win the division.
Yeah, that might maybe make it a little easier. That was tough to watch. Look, the reason I don't think they're going to do it is because of the way. Look, they've played, win one, lose one, win one, lose one, win one, lose one, so long as I just don't see them winning three in a row, no matter who the opponent is, with the way they are playing defense against the run. It's just hellacious. And if you even want to project, okay, we'll beat the Steelers, maybe we'll get revenge against the Vikings, even though they shredded them on the ground with 142 yards. You think they're going to go into Chicago and you see the way the Bears run the football like they did against Philly in Philly? Right. Well, what gives us any inkling that this team can stop the run? We're looking for Aleem McNeil on milk cartons now. I never thought I'd say that sentence when he came back. He has done nothing, really. The front seven has been so disappointing, let alone the secondary, the Legion of whom, because they got nobody, all the injuries. And the one guy who came back from being injured, DJ Reed, stinks right now.
Well, I mean, what could change? You aren't facing a Bears team with Matthew Stafford at quarterback and two elite wide receivers. They have good talent, but you can maybe gang up on the run a little bit more against Chicago than you could the Rams.
That's true.
And, the Rams are a complete offense right now. They are run blocking well, pass protecting well. Their quarterback is slinging it. Their wide receivers are catching it. Their backup tight ends are getting open, and they got two running backs that can hurt you. You don't need anything else. They got it all, and that's the way they're operating.
Right.
If you're playing Caleb Williams, you probably have a different approach than you did against Matthew Stafford in that passing attack.
They have good tight ends.
And so at the end of the day, what makes me think is that the Bears' offense isn't as complete as the Rams' offense.
True.
Now, that doesn't mean, Lions are clearly going to win that game. I'm just saying that's why I think they got a shot.
Yeah.
248-539-9797. Thug Aim on Twitch just said Stoney was a Florida man. Yes, last week Stoney was a Florida man. Now he's got to be leery of Florida man. What Florida man is capable of.
Exactly.
All right, let's get back to your phone calls, and we go to MG in Troy, who's been patient and is next. Hello, MG.
Hey guys, chump of the week is caller Jeff from Shelby. I would love for him to talk to Titans fans and see how they feel about watching Vrabel take the Patriots back to their glory, as we just willy-nilly talk about firing Dan Campbell, which is the most insane call I've ever heard in my life. I'm giving you guys champ of the week because you're doing God's work even just taking that call. I don't even know how you made it through it. It was unbelievable. And then just one other point. Being a fan is all about being crazy, far right, far left. I mean, that guy, to me, just really outdid it. But, I do think the truth really sits in the middle. And, Stoney, you were mentioning this earlier, and I'll just kind of throw it out there to you guys. Brad Holmes understands that Brad Holmes understands that Jared Goff needs pieces around him. And when he gets those pieces, when he has time in the pocket, when he has a run game, he performs, I think most people would agree, at an elite level. Top 5 numbers in the NFL, leading the NFL in passing touchdowns, just incredible. I think Brad Holmes has to realize that he has the Jared Goff of the defense in Aiden Hutchinson, who is an incredible talent, who plays more reps, I believe, percentage of snaps at defensive end than almost anyone out there because we don't have another option. And if you just gave him some suitable help to complement that other defensive end. And again, I'm not recommending going and getting a Micah Parsons. Lions fans are hungry for us to be Howie, what's the guy, the Eagles GM's name? Yeah, we all want to do what the Packers do, and we all want to do what the Eagles do. And the Packers and the Eagles are all of one game better than us in record. And the Packers don't have a first-round draft pick until 2035. So, I don't think we have to do that. But, my God, you have a Jared Goff on your defense. Meaning if you just gave him a little help, we could be talking about Micah Parsons and Myles Garrett impact. And I think that's where the middle ground is that going into next year, it's on Holmes to make sure that Goff has what he needs to be elite and that Aiden has what he needs to be elite, and then our team can be elite.
Well, there's no question that this is going to be a fascinating offseason, regardless what happens in the next few weeks. They'll have contract extensions to talk about, and that might dominate their priority list.
Like Branch, Laporta, and Gibbs, right?
Yeah. That probably will dominate their priority list. But at the end of the day, they have to decide if they're going to keep everyone, if they're going to wait and see how Branch returns.
How much they have to figure they have to restructure Goff if they're going to make any signings of any note. Right?
Yeah. But there's no doubt that this defense needs help. And while the offense could use improvement in places, they're still leading the NFL in scoring.
Right.
248-539-9797. Fred in West Bloomfield is next. Hello, Fred.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Okay.
That's good. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
We can look at all the possibilities and scenarios that could get the Lions in the playoffs and all of that. But I'm a true believer that, if you get to the playoffs, you want to have a legitimate chance to win it all. Mm-hmm. That they don't have at all. The last 2 years, they kind of blew it, San Francisco when they had that collapse in the second half. And that game yesterday was kind of a resemblance of that game, where they just came out in the second half and they up 24-14 and then just blew it and got outscored 17-0 before they done anything, And I think they have too many holes on this team. One of their strong points yesterday was supposed to be, hey, they could run the ball. They couldn't do that, and then it's so many holes on that defense. You just throw the ball down the field and them guys are falling all over themselves. They're missing assignments and they get burned every week, with deep passes, because them guys back there looking like the Keystone Cops. And it's just bad across the, I don't think Dan Campbell needs to be fired. That guy who was talking all that crazy talk, he lost his mind for a minute there. But I think that they need a lot of work. They at the trade deadline, they didn't do some things they should have done. So getting into the playoffs is really, not even something that I'm pulling for because they're not going to beat anybody, and they're gonna have to go on the road and win some games.
Yeah,
so,
I guess
Fred,
it's fair. I can understand why there'd be skepticism. They're 2-4 against the NFC playoff field right now.
Right.
Last year at this time, Washington was a playoff bubble team. They qualified. They won 2 road playoff games, including coming in and beating the number 1 seed. It's not impossible. The question is, Can they get back to the best version of themselves?
Right.
And I don't know that to be the case. But I'll tell you what, I'm not giving up on Dan Campbell, nor the leadership with this team, which has been pretty strong.
No, they look, if they get in, they'll certainly give it a go. But you can't honestly look at this team and say, yeah, this is a Super Bowl team. They're not.
No, if they win the next 3, including a win in Chicago, I'll take my chances that they can make some noise in the postseason.
I just don't think their defense is playoff caliber. But that's,
Well,
that's because I'm the
playoff
doctor
caliber,
of realism.
Super Bowl caliber. Doctor of realism. Aren't you special?
Yes.
Stoney's
well,
the doctor.
Jennifer last night, she was the doctor of positivity. So I said, I'm just the doctor of realism. My eyes, thanks to Dr. Yaldo, tell me that this is not a real good football team.
Way to slip in the client promotion.
Yeah, what the
248-539-9797, 97.1.